Spring training is underway for the Cubs, and they're off to a great start. They're 3-0 going into today's action. But I want to start with a comment that Jim Bowden of The Athletic made. Could the Cubs be eyeing Vlad Guerrero Jr. if they don't sign Kyle Tucker? Yeah, it's worth talking about today because if they don't get Kyle Tucker, they're going to need somebody next year. Now, no, we're not even worried about that because Tucker hasn't played a game this year. But let's get into it. Craig Counsell talked about Nico. Justin Steele made his debut yesterday. Matt Shaw and Jordan Wicks both on the mend and coming back. And we got all that to get into today right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. So like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's talk a little bit of Cubs. And let's do it with all of you guys. Go Cubs. Thanks, everybody. Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. Appreciate all of you guys for hanging out today. At Broadcaster Mick on the Twitter and other places. Or do we call that X now? I don't even know. But that's where you can find us. Thank you, though. Like and subscribe. And we appreciate all of you guys for being here. And the channel's doing great right now because you guys are all fired up about baseball. And I'm fired up about baseball. All right. Jim Bowden of The Athletic, he was I remember when he was the GM of the Cincinnati Reds and then got into the media. Anyway, he says that the Cubs could turn to Vlad Guerrero Jr. if they don't sign Kyle Tucker. And I think it's worth talking about here. I mean, we haven't even played a real game with Kyle Tucker yet. Cubs gave up a king's ransom, though, to sign him or to really with a trade for him. And then it doesn't feel like there's going to be a deal before next year to go ahead and extend him. And he's going to be, if he has a great season, highly sought after. No doubt about it. I don't know if he'll be Juan Soto sought after, but don't be surprised if he is very expensive. And then, you look at the Cubs payroll right now and they're under the cap, they're under the tax threshold, so maybe they're kind of looking at this and going, hey, you know what, we need to take advantage of the money that we have now for next year. Maybe they're just saving it for something that could happen at the trade deadline. Who knows? You guys have definitely wanted the Cubs to spend a little bit more and totally get that. But, right now it is what it is. And he's supposed to be kind of the star of the team. But what would you do if you did? I mean, if you went and signed Vlad Guerrero Jr., part of that could be, too, you're looking at Michael Busch and you're going, man, you didn't have the second year that we thought you could have. And I think it's a pivotal year for Michael Busch because he had a really good rookie year, not a rookie of the year type campaign, but he was good. This is the year where the Cubs really need him to step up and kind of solidify him as the type of player we saw him capable of being in the minor leagues. And the guy has so much potential. He could potentially be a Gold Glover. He could potentially be as one of the best power hitters in the game, and there were moments last year where you're going, man, this guy's got so much talent. So it's going to be fun to watch. I personally, when I saw this, I just don't know that there's going to be a spot other than maybe DH for a Vlad Guerrero Jr. I believe Michael Busch is going to turn out to be a pretty good player when it's all said and done. But, man, I do look at Toronto and go, how are you not winning, man? You got, so many good players on your team. And what's the other part of this, too, and you guys know this, is that when The Athletic did that survey and they were like, what front office is in the most trouble? It wasn't the Cubs. Cubs were second. The Toronto Blue Jays were first. So, and they got to win too. And this is a must-win year for them. And they're in a tough division. Baltimore's got so much talent. The Yankees are going to be good. Plus, the Yankees are going to be able to grow facial hair for the first time in my lifetime. So who knows what's going to happen? The Red Sox got Alex Bregman. Are they going to be in the mix? The Rays always seem to pop up. And the American League can be tough. All right. Anyway, good conversation piece. And I love The Athletic. All right. Second thing I want to get into is this. Cubs with a 7-3 win over the White Sox yesterday. So now they're 3-0. And it was good in that game because we saw a lot of the regulars in the game for the Cubs, guys, kind of out there getting an opportunity and taking advantage of it. It's 3 spring training games. It's not a whole lot to get excited about, when you talk about spring training, like, oh, well, these games really don't count. They really don't count. And for the Cubs, it's like their thing right now is basically just trying to get ready for the Dodgers when they go to Japan, and that's like in the middle of the next month. But the Jaguar, Kevin Alcantara was 1 for 3. You had Michael Bush. We talked about him a second ago, 2 for 3 with a double. James Triantos had a double. And then Gage Workman was 0 for 2, but he's a guy that the Cubs could have easily sent him back, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it with Luis Vazquez, let him go. They didn't do it with Alexander Canario, let him go. So they must really feel like Workman is not just an insurance policy at third base, but someone else that they must feel like they can count on, and so that's interesting too. And the way that spring training works is, you get the lineup, and then, you're kind of, the starters play a little bit, and then you bring a whole nother line in. So, pretty fun. Look, I enjoy spring training. Broadcast at many spring training games, and it's always fun. Now, we're going to talk about some specific guys. Craig Counsell, he's great. Now, I think the best ever, my opinion, best ever media talker, right? Press conference manager was Joe Madden. I mean, like, I'm there watching Joe Madden, and I'm like, man, there's just something. This guy, man, he's so cool. He's calm. He just knows what to say. He knows what not to say. But Craig Counsell's right up there, man. You can tell that he's one of the best managers in the league, which a lot of people after last year don't have him listed as a top manager. This guy's one of the top managers in the game. So he's talked a lot about the guys on the team and kind of where they are. He said Nico Horner, who, remember, had the surgery in the offseason, is doing well, just needs some time. That's a good sign because the Cubs are going to need Nico Horner. He's probably not going to be ready for Japan, if they've even said that he could even possibly go. But, I don't know that opening day is that unrealistic for him. He's a Gold Glove second baseman, and he's someone that always seems to kind of get on base. He's been one of the Cubs' most consistent hitters. Justin Steele in the game, and that win over the White Sox, came in, solid debut, had velocity, moving pitches around, had some strikeouts. He looked great, and he's going to be the guy that pitches game 2 in Japan, and he's got to stay healthy first off. And the second thing, not only staying healthy, but also just being consistent with his delivery. And when he looks so much like John Lester, and Lester kind of helped him out with that. When he's good, he's really good. Felt like last year was like a year where he was constantly trying to catch up. He got hit by the line drive. The last spring training start, left, came back, had another, injury on the ground ball to first or whatever, and was out for a while. It just never really got good. The year before that, he was healthy, he was consistent, and he was in the Cy Young race up until the end. So Cubs are going to need him, and it was good to see him back. Now, Matt Shaw is another guy that I feel like the Cubs are really depending on, right? So if Nico's not going to play second base, where's Shaw going to play, right? Well, he's supposed to play third, and it's not like the Cubs have a whole lot of options over at third base right now. But, Shaw was dealing with the oblique. He's hitting in the cage. And then Counsell basically is like, look, if everything goes the way that it should, he'll be on the field taking ground balls and basically, hitting next week. So that's a good sign because I think we've kind of penciled him in as the Cubs' best third base option. And so, that's kind of where Matt Shaw is right now. And then the last thing I wanted to get into was this. And I was kind of curious, like, where do they see Jordan Wicks? Because when we talk about the starting rotation, no one's really talking about Wicks in that rotation. But Craig Counsell, he did. He's like, look, we're seeing him right now as a starter, battling for a starting spot. Javier Assad is kind of out of action right now. Colin Ray's the guy that we're figuring will be that fifth starter. But what about Jordan Wicks? I mean, Jordan Wicks has been very good when he has been healthy. He's obviously left-handed. Cubs have a lot of left-handed starters already, but he could come in the spring, and I think he could walk away with that 5th starter spot. But he's definitely not just that to the Cubs. He's also depth, and that's something that they desperately need is depth in that starting rotation. And I feel like they've done a lot to try to build that. But it's good to know that that Wicks is back. He's healthy. He's throwing, and that Craig Counsell's kind of like he seems like he's pretty excited about having him. So and having him back. So anyway, that's where we are right now. So exciting, man. Another game. Cubs play another game. And it's like, what do you guys think about the spring training games? Like, tell me in the comment section. Like, I know when I used to broadcast the spring training games, like you would get some interest sometimes, and then other days no one would care. It'd be like one day you'd have everybody watching, and then the next day nobody watching or listening. But tomorrow the Cubs are at Sloan, or excuse me, today the Cubs are at Sloan against the Rangers. We'll see Colin Ray in the game. He's getting the start for the Cubs. And then Monday, the Cubs head to play the Padres. And surprise, right? Isn't that where the Padres are? Yeah. Anyway, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here. No, Peoria. They're in Peoria. Somebody's going to correct me. And Peoria, sharing that Mariners complex. Thank you guys, though, for hanging out. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. And we'll do it again tomorrow, man. We got a lot going on. And we're having a good time right here on the channel. But something you want to talk about, throw it in there. It's been a fun week. You guys have made so many funny and good and intelligent comments. I'm going to stand by what I said about the some of the players that the Cubs have just given away this year. Michael Arias being one of those guys, Luis Vazquez, Alexander Canario. But I feel like this front office, I don't put Brennan Davis in that mix, though. Some of you guys do. I don't. I think he was past his time. But the other guys, for sure, it feels like to me, it's more than just a sense of urgency. I think that the Cubs feel like if they don't do something right now, everybody's not going to be unemployed or going to be other spots, and they're trying to do everything they can. But sometimes it feels like they're mortgaging their future. All right. Thank you. We'll do it again tomorrow. Go Cubs.